whenever a player like Giannis Antetokounmpo becomes available in trade talks, I think it's all of our first reactions as fans to put him on what team can he go to and what packages can we put together. We're going to look at really quick the Shams tweet that came out yesterday. So he says, two-time MVP Giannis Antetokounmpo is ready for a new home at the February 5th NBA trade deadline or in the offseason as several rival teams make aggressive offers to the Milwaukee Bucks for him, and the franchise is starting to listen. So this skips, I think, the most important part. The real story isn't who wants him, it's why is getting the deal done going to be so difficult. I feel like this tweet has some subtle hints in it if we read the language carefully, but the real story isn't about who wants Giannis because, everybody, if they could get their hands on him, would do it. Okay, pause. But the real story isn't about that. The real story is getting this deal done is going to be so difficult or challenging before the February 5th deadline. Welcome back to the channel. My name is Gage. Today we are going to be talking about the Giannis trade reports. Just giving a high-level overview to explain it clearly for you guys and for me. I just want to go through it and see. If you're new to the channel, we basically just talk ball. So if you like ball and you're a ball knower, subscribe. So let's get into it. So let's start with why this report came out in the first place. If you take a look at the Milwaukee Bucks, they're not doing too hot, okay? They're not winning now, to put it simply. They have an aging core. They have limited flexibility on what they can do, and they have few options internally to go and get upgrades. And so the timing of this report makes sense. And when you take a look at the Giannis side of things, we have seen this many times. At least last year, we saw, Giannis is going here, Giannis is going there. And so now it seems more serious. But by the way that this tweet is worded and the report is worded, it doesn't look like Giannis is demanding a trade. And we kind of saw this last year when people talked about it. But the Bucks' availability on what they can do is thinning out. And so the Bucks are reaching a point to where their margin of error is basically gone. They're coming to this end of this road and being like, okay, we need to change something. Is it time to look bigger and look at trades for Giannis Antetokounmpo? And so looking at trades for Giannis and why it's a unique situation is because teams want Giannis on their team. Like, it's not like you have with the Anthony Davis or even Ja Morant, where they're having some off-the-court issues, or at least Ja is, or on-the-court injuries and stuff. So the hype around him for trade talks kind of died down. People want Giannis on their team. He led a small market team to the finals. They won, two-time MVP. He's a MVP caliber player, top 5 in the league right now. So it's not the question that teams don't want him. It's going to be if teams can get the deal done. Because the league is built to resist deals like this. So this is going to break down into 3 different categories. The first being the salary gravity of Giannis. He's a supermax athlete. We just went over kind of his accolades. So you're going to have to pay him a lot of money. And so a team that trades for Giannis is going to have to absorb that contract. And so by the time that the money gets right and the picks are right, the players are right, the team that trades for him is oftentimes going to look very, very different than the team before. And so the next thing is the asset paradox. So teams that usually have the assets to trade for Giannis, one, are places that he probably doesn't want to go to. He wants to win now, and they're not ready. They're usually not ready right now. So if we look at a team like the Hawks, they have a ton of assets they could use to trade for Giannis, but I don't think that they're ready to give up their young core yet. I think they're still wanting to build around Jalen Johnson. And so that's the first thing. The other side of the paradox is being that teams that are usually ready to trade for Giannis don't have the assets. They do not have the money to space to do it. They don't have the players to do it or the picks to do it. And so that becomes a very limited amount of teams, regardless of where Giannis is wanting to go to. The last thing is the competitive collapse risk. So if you are a team that is willing to trade for Giannis and you empty out the picks, you empty out your young guys, and you want Giannis to win now. You're running the risk of being healthy all season, and you run the risk of Giannis coming to your team and you not having chemistry and not working out. We saw the same thing with Luka and the Lakers when he got traded. Everyone's like, oh, Lakers super team. Well, the chemistry wasn't there their first year, and so it took time to build that up. So you're willing to risk all your future, all your players now, all your picks to win right now, and you're banking on the fact that he's going to come in and you guys are going to start winning. So that is why before the trade deadline, I think it's highly unlikely that a move for Giannis happens. It just is incredibly hard to move a player like that without selling him short. And I think that's the Bucks' real issue that they're going to be looking into is, okay, we have this all-star player. He's worth this much, but if we trade him now, we probably won't get as much value out of the trade as we would like. There also is the risk of if you sit by and do nothing, so the report comes out and saying, okay, they're actively listening, but if they sit by and do nothing, every time they lose, then everyone's going to be talking about it. What are they going to do with Giannis? It's going to keep getting louder and louder to where eventually it might force their hand. And so they don't want that. So that's why I think in the report, it was important for the language to be right, because if they were saying like, oh, Giannis demanded a trade, then that would be different, because I feel like then they would try to have to move Giannis. But in the sense of they're saying, okay, we're listening to offers, it's saying there's something being done about this, and we know that something needs to be done. That is the hardest place to be as a franchise is you're not good enough right now or have enough pieces to rebuild. And so you're losing games. You can't win now. You have this amazing player, but you're at a place where it's just a standstill. You're not good enough to feel secure in the future of your team. It's kind of a tough place to be if you're the Milwaukee Bucks. And why this trade deadline, it feels like it's been really slow. Like there hasn't really been any trades, I don't think. I've seen some other things going around of people like, oh, Sabonis might go here, or people being pursued, but nothing's really happening yet. And I don't know if it's the league waiting on this Giannis news to break or something, because there's really been nothing. It's kind of been boring. And so with that, I think that the league is waiting on kind of a more clear picture, because right now the big names being talked about in trades like Ja Morant, like we mentioned earlier, or Anthony Davis or whatever, they got off the court stuff or they're injured. And so it's very unsettling as a team or an owner. It's like, oh, like that's a good player, but I don't know if I want them. So I think the league is waiting on clarity and to be clear with what's going to happen to Giannis before kind of the dominoes like fall in line for trades to start happening. Because if you are a team that can go get Giannis, you don't want to make a trade for somebody else when you could have had Giannis if he does end up getting moved before the February 5th deadline. I don't think that this report is about like the rumors of the trade happening. I think it's about just how hard it is to move a player this great. And I think it's just hard for the franchise to move on from a guy that took them to the finals and won with a small market team. He also wants that relationship to still be good. And it's hard to trade a guy like that without breaking something in the process. I mean, we brought up Luka earlier, and when he got traded with no thought, like nothing, it broke that relationship. And so I don't think that this will resolve quickly. And if it does, then the Bucks are going to be missing out on some value, like we said. All that to say that it's going to be incredibly hard to move Giannis at the deadline without losing something. And as we look at the report, we have kind of a clear picture that the Bucks are listening and they know what's going on with their franchise. It seems like they have a good grasp on their team, whereas some other franchises in the NBA, they don't. So that is a good sign. So if you were the Milwaukee Bucks right now, would you try to trade him before the deadline and try to get that deal done? I think that's in like 6 days from now. Or would you wait and have some patience for the offseason. You can kind of let things settle, and you can kind of get what you would want out of Giannis. So what would you do as the Milwaukee Bucks? Let me know down below. Let me know what team you want to see Giannis go to if he does get traded before the February 5th deadline. If you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button so I can keep making more content. Thank you guys for watching.